Hello, this is going to be a quick video on how to use Tinkercad. Tinkercad is a 3D CAD program where you can design and draw things in a 3D environment. I'm going to quickly show you how to log in and get started. So you're going to go to Tinkercad, that's Tinkercad.com, Tinkercad.com, and click on sign in. Since you've never signed in before, you're going to sign in with Google, and you're going to use your Google @MySaddleback account. Might ask you to put in your username and password. And hopefully it'll take you to Tinkercad. You probably won't have any designs here, so you can click right here on create a new design. And here is the base where you're going to be designing all of your products. Sometimes there's little notifications up here. You can add notes to your products, something new they've added. I'm just going to close that. And if it wants to take you for a tour, you can click on that tour. You can do some of those lessons if you want, or you can just close out of them. So the basic way this works is you drag shapes over here, and if I'm using a mouse, I can zoom in with the wheel on the mouse, or I can use the right mouse button to spin around the object. So I've just made a cube here. If I click on the cube, I can drag the cube, make it larger or smaller, and you can see that it is 59 millimeters by 37 millimeters. If I want, I can actually click on those numbers. If I wanted to type in, I want that to be 60 millimeters by 60 millimeters, and then I can actually zoom in and change the height of this. So this is telling me it's 20. I'm going to click on that and make it 60. So now I've got a 60 by 60 by 60 cube. Very simple to use this. If you wanted to add a different shape to it, I could add a roof to this, place it right here. Obviously it's not in the right place. Remember, these little white boxes tell you how large the object's going to be. This arrow right here lets you pick the object up. So I'm going to move the object. Now it's right on top of the block, but there's actually a little gap. See that gap right there? So I can move that back down. And set it right on top of it. So you can do all kinds of different things with this. Drag that out so it's matching exactly. And if you're using a Chromebook, sometimes you can use 2 fingers on the trackpad to move things around. It is so much easier if you just use a mouse. Now, if I want to combine this piece, and I'm going to hold the Shift key down and click on this piece, so now I've got both pieces, I could come over here and group the two together. Now it's one solid piece. Okay, so for this project, I'm going to have you change the work plane because we're going to draw the truss. So the work plane right now, that's the grid right here. I can edit this grid, and it's set up in millimeters. We did the truss in inches, so I could change this over to inches if I want. Your truss was over 12 inches wide, so I will make this 14 inches wide, and I'm going to make it 6 inches tall. Update your grid. Now, if I want to draw a triangle, looking at these shapes along the sides here, Do any of these look like your shape? Well, the closest one would be this roof shape. So I'll drag it out here. And the roof is right placed on top of the workplane. We don't like that. We want to roll this over a little bit. So you see how there's those arrows? I can roll this over 90 degrees. If I want to type 90 degrees, I can type it. And now there is my object. It's not in the right place, it's not the right size, but at least now I have something that looks like the truss. I'm going to roll this around 180 degrees. And there it is. Right now it is going through the workplane, so think of the workplane as the piece of paper you're drawing it on. It's on top of it and underneath it. So we need to change that and just make sure it's right even with the bottom. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is change the size of this. How wide was your truss? Your truss was 12.5. It was about 12.5 inches wide. I think it was actually a little bit longer than that. And how tall was your truss? From the bottom measurement here to the top of the peak. You're going to need to measure that on your actual truss. You can measure the piece of paper if you want. Let's just pretend that it is 5 inches. That's clearly not the right size, but that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, so does that look like our truss? Well, not quite. We can put another one of these trusses inside of the truss and delete a portion of it. So how does that work? Well, if I take this box and put it right in the center of it, and I make the box a hole. So now the box, think of it like a negative number. The box is negative. So see that negative box right there? Now if I combine the negative and the positive, so I'm going to hold the shift key down, click on one, hold the shift key down, click on the other, and group it together. Now that negative subtracted away from the positive of the truss. Let's undo that. That's not what I want to do. And I'll get rid of that box. Well, this piece, my truss, I want it to be 1/8 of an inch high. So right now it's 1 inch high. I'm going to make it 1 divided by 8, or that's 0.125. Sorry, 0.125. Okay, it raised it up. And I'm going to lower it right back down. So there's my truss, 1/8 of an inch tall. I will click on it one more time. I want to copy and paste that. So there's my copy, there's my paste, and I've made a duplicate of it. However, I'm going to make it smaller so it fits inside of this one. So remember, this was 12.5 inches, this was 5 inches. Well, we need to have a 1/4 inch down the bottom and a 1/4 inch on the top. So I can make this one 4.5 inches. And I can make this one 4.5 inches. So this one was 12 3/8. I'll take a 1/4 inch off there and a 1/4 inch off there. That'll make it 11 7/8. $11.875. 7/8 is 8.75. Now I'm going to put this right in the center of this guy. Starting to look like our truss, not quite. So let's take this, let's make this one a hole. See, we're making it a negative. And we're going to put it inside the positive one. And then group the two together. And now I've got my truss. Is it perfect? No, it's not. So definitely make some changes to your truss. Figure out how you want to make it. So, how could I add some support beams in the middle? I can just drag a box out here. That box I want to be 1/4 wide, no, 1/8 wide, and I'll make it really long. Once again, click on this one, hold the shift key down, click on this one right here, and now I want to group the two together. It's all the same color. The one thing I forgot to do, so I'm going to undo, was to go back, make this piece only 1/8 of an inch high. Now I can click on this one, and this one, and say group the two together. No, sorry. Center them that way. Let me grab them all. Okay, I want to group them together. So now they're all whatever color I want to make them. So there's my object. There I've designed a truss. And it names it some crazy name. This one's terrific, whatever. I can just say your last name, truss. Have fun with this. See if you can duplicate your own truss that you design. And try to pay attention to the sizes the best as possible.